In today's video, I will use examples to explain why skill is different from MCP and why it is so scalable for development and governance. Then I will show you 3 demos for starting using skill for your own agent. Many developers confuse agent skill with MCP, or say Model Context Protocol. Anthropic put it best. MCP connects the model to data. Agent skill teaches model what to do with that data. From a functionality standpoint, there is some overlapping. Both enable an agent to do things, use tools. But here is the difference. MCP gives agent access. Agent skill define how the access is used. One facilitate action, the other governance behavior. My name is Celine Xu. Welcome and welcome back to my channel. I help business professionals and organizations make smart decisions about AI. So technology creates real value instead of a risk. So what pain point do agent skills solve? And why are more people adopt them so fast? In simple line, they eliminate the need for repetitive context prompting and lagging, but steering agent in a regulated manner with simple format. Think of agent skill as a reusable playbooks, and the model can consult anytime, but do not need to remember all the time. See, you are building an intelligent customer serve bot. Instead of passing the same behavior instruction in every session, you write them once as a skill. Says, always begin complaints with empathy. Never promise refund without verification. Escalate angry user to human supervisor. Now, the next time a customer vent about a delayed delivery, the model knows what to do without need to be reprompt again. It just check it playbook and act accordingly. And here is the kicker. Because skill lives in their own Claude folder, updating them one and done. Make a change once, and every future agent session follow the new rules, instant and consistently. It's not just a smart automation. It's scalable governance. And here is what makes skills even more powerful. They are portable and stackable. If you will create an skill in one Claude project, you can simply copy and paste the skill MD file into another project folder, and boom, it's ready to use. Some websites already launch skill marketplace, where you can browse, download, and plug them directly into your Claude agent. I'll show you how to work with that in the demo. Now, let's talk about flexibility. For a single agent, you can load multiple skills as needed. For example, I built a personal assistant agent. Instead of creating separate agents, I built several module skills. For example, one for text reporting. It helps me fill in PDFs for my tax return. One for visa application. It helps when I apply a Swedish visa for my mom from China. Those tasks I only do once or twice a year. No need to maintain separate agent for each. And if I need help on something that need both touch point, like a visa-related tax issue, I just load both skills into the same agent. Instant context. The other advantage of skills is on-demand loading and conditional reference. Instead of dumping the whole skill library into memory, Claude quickly scans a simple index that only pulls what's relevant to the task at hand as a skill. Even if you've got dozens of skills, it's only read few lines before choose the right path. That means less noise, more precision, and response quicker. Pro tips. Inside a skill, you can spin multiple sub-agents parallel to attack the same task for different angle using different tools. Let's say you have an skill for UI test research, and you can write like this. You are an orchestrator agent. Your task is spawn 3 independent sub-agents to analyze the same from different expert perspective. Each sub-agent must work independently and must not see the other's output. After all 3 finished, synthesize their finding into a single structured report. Sub-agent 1 or usability expert. You can set up the role and guide. And sub-agent 2, visual design and brand expert. Role and guide. Sub-agent 3, product and conversion expert and guide. Now, one big concern, and it's important. Once skills start to carry script, they're no longer just passive knowledge. They become runtime capability, and that raises the stakes. At this point, skills act like a plugin or a microservice, calling tools, execute logic, even trigger the workflow, which means they need governance. And the skills are less regulated compared to MCPs. Without the safeguard, no responsible organization will let skill near customer data, financial system, or core operation. So follow Anthropic enterprise checklist for your skills. First, review before publishing, especially for external calls, APIs, embed logic, avoid credential or data leaks risk. Second, verify skill document before use or loading. Ensure you understand what skill does, what data it accesses, and whether it introduces security risks. Third, audit trails. Check the publisher identity, reputation. Look for update history or maintenance records. Check the review from other users. Now, it's demo time. In next section, I want to show you two things. One is how to create your own agent skill from scratch. The second is how to download the skills from the marketplace, any marketplace, and install for your own use. And before that, I want to have two concepts cleared. The first thing is there are different ways to create skills. What I mean is the process. There is the good way, which is standard way, I will show in this video, and also the casual way. I will create another video later and show you how I use the casual way. The good way, what I mean is have two things. One is use official skill creator skills from GitHub. So you can find the more information in the GitHub here. I will link the link below for your information. The second one is you have a process step-by-step create a skill. The first thing is you clone Anthropic public skill report and make the skill create available. The second is your create a skill folder, which all your skills sit in that folder. It's specified Claude Code to know where to write. The third one is after you in that folder, you invoke the skill create skill, and you follow the conversation and create the skill. The second thing is where the skill lives. One is project-based, which is skill only available within a specific folder. The other one is global. And in the demo, I will show you project-based. I will drag a folder into VS Code, and then I will start to create skill in there. But for global, you can directly open your terminal and install a skill there. First, you choose folder and drag it to VS Code. And when you open VS Code, you can see this is new and nothing here. You have new terminal open. You can see you're already in this folder, and then your Claude is coming up. Then I will copy. This is the GitHub Anthropic skills repository here. And then I will use this one. And it says done. The skill creator skill has been successfully copied, and we can call out it when we need to build a new skill now. And the suggestion is you close the session and reopen it again. Now I reopen the session. You can see in this folder, they already have Claude. I ask, do you have skill create skill now? And it says, I already have. And then I will set up a new folder. It's called my first skill, and I will put the skill there. It's more organized to invoke the skill create skill. Either you just answer the question and says yes, or you just have the / skill creator, and it says it's running. So it's specify and ask you what functionality should the skill support, and can you give me an example how to use. I want to create idea brainstorming skills to help me create new ideas, and then classify those ideas into different categories for grouping and execution. And I also want 3 perspectives to evaluate those ideas. One is from innovation perspective. Second is from feasibility perspective. The third is from leadership, return on investment perspective. Can you give me an example of brainstorming request? I gave example. I want to have the idea about how to improve e-commercial conversion rate and engage rate. And what category I said is according to the customer journey. And what is 3 perspective is, I said I want to all 3 perspective for each idea, and I want the output looks like first a document and then a prioritized metric and also action and recommendation for each pursuit. Start a run, and it's give the plan. This skill will doing what, and it's finding the specific tool, and it's create the script asset, and then it says package the skill into the .skill file. And again, this skill only in my create skill folder, which means if I change another folder, I said use the skill, it will not invoke. The interesting things for agent is if they have any error, they can figure out what happened and try to fix it automatically instead of the rule base. So here it says your idea brainstorming skill has been successfully created and packaged. And it's letting me know the location, the file, and what is the skill component, and how it works. When to use this. It's also telling me how to install this in code or share with others. So testing mode idea brainstorming skill, I said I want to improve my engagement for my YouTube channel, and I gave it my YouTube channel link, and I said I specifically want to improve 2 metrics. One is called impression click-through rate, and the other one is average view duration rate. Let's see how it behaves. After about 30 seconds, and I get the result. It says, let me generate the analysis based on the skills. So it's have a comprehensive analysis, have the category. This is table format, and there's the information, the recommendation, quick wins, strategic initiatives, and key risk summary, which make the skills works. One of the agent skill marketplace and choose one your existing. This time I'm quite interested in the test. And then it's showing me the information about that, when to update those information to help you decide which skills is safe to download and use. And it says who is the author. You can see the repository. And then I can download. To install the new skills is just as simple as you create right folder structure under skills and then create a specific skill MD file in this folder, and you make sure you copy and paste right content from that skill for this MD. The agent will know how to use it. So the first thing is you need to create a directory. So you use comment in terminal. I will create a file including all the comment I'm using in this demo for your reference. So this one is create this Claude skill test directory, which is folder. And then you can see I was using a nano, but it doesn't work. But the point here is I just want to create skill.md under this test folder. You can describe directly, say, please create me an skill.md file under this repository. And please remember, it's a character sensitive, so it's up character instead of smaller character. And then you will see skill.md, and you double click and you will see the skill.md is created. And we already have this test zip download, and you double click and you will have a folder. When you open the folder, you will have this skill.md. And then when you double click, you will see what the content in skill.md. And you just copy and then paste and press Command plus S. And now you have your new skill ready. And you have to test it whether or not it works. Everything, and I just told Claude Code. Now I updated this, and I want to test whether or not it will work. So the good things work with the Claude Code is you can treat it as your partner. If you have any question, you can ask it. So if you not sure whether or not you have anything, you can just ask. Use natural language. The rapid adoption of agent skills shows the market isn't chasing hype anymore. It's chasing a method that finally fits how real organizations operate. A skill is not a longer prompt. It's a packaged, composable unit of procedural knowledge for agent. 4 keywords matters. Procedure. Emphasize how to do things in an deterministic flow. Composable. Skill can stack like Lego blocks. Executable. Define the clear goals and trigger the actions. Scalable. Saving tokens, quick response, and easy to maintain. If this video inspired you, like the video and share it with someone who needs it. Subscribe for more practical, non-hype strategy for use AI in real organization. Drop a comment below. What's the one insight you're going to apply to your next AI agent project? Thanks for watching and see you in the next one.